Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right. It is finally here. Well, no, not actually. It's been with us now for quite a while. Okay, I'm willing to admit that. Yes, it's been quite a while. Okay, but hey, better late than never. That's what I say. Okay, no, not really. Anyways, you already know the shtick. Welcome to Tonikaku Kawaii. Did chapter? You already know it. Okay. First off, congratulations to Hada. He did it. He got another of his series all the way to chapter 200. Okay. Next off, I can't wait for Hada to be celebrating chapter 300. Okay. Let's hope to God that happens. All right. Second off, congratulations and I guess a thanks, I guess, to Bathhouse Scans, actually, for, translating this and giving us Chapter 200. Congratulations to them. And I guess honorable mentions to Tonikaku Scans. They helped. Yeah, they paved the way to Chapter 200. I don't even know how much I should really be thanking them, but hey, honorable mentions nonetheless, okay? Apart from that, I have nothing interesting to say. You already know what this is. Let's just get right into it. The chapter starts off with Skasa-chan, trying to remember her, her past life, okay? And as she states herself, when she was a human, okay? Because apparently Skasa-chan doesn't actually really think of herself as a human. She more or less just thinks of herself as probably a monster more than anything, right? Which, yeah, okay, you're technically correct. Yeah, like you did break the basic rule of a human of, dying eventually, right? But whatever, okay? She's like, I don't remember anything. I don't remember my name. I don't remember where I was born. Hell, I don't even remember my family, okay? My blood relatives, okay? All she knows is that they died. But even then, like, she doesn't really know how they died, okay? But at the end of the day, she had one goal for herself that she apparently remembered, okay? Basically, her goal was to improve people's lives, improve people's happiness, okay? And to quote unquote, have their fleeting moments of happiness, okay? Spoiler alert, that didn't really work out for her at all in the slightest, okay? She kind of sucked at that, and at the end of the day, all that she had left over was regret, and really that's about it. And I guess, not remembering anything about herself, but most importantly, the regret. From there, we cut to Skasa-chan talking to the Emperor. They're talking about paper, right? But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is what Skasa-chan is trying to tell us, okay? So, she's talking about how, she only meant to help him out just a bit. Not a lot, just a bit, right? And, she kind of just thinks about it, right? And she's like, I wonder how my life would have turned out if I didn't help him. I wonder how it would have changed, right? She probably what would happen really is that, she lives her normal life as an apothecary, she helps out and, she lives to, well, like basically until she dies like a normal human being, right? But, as we know, that doesn't happen. And, basically, as she says herself, it gets worse and her life just becomes an absolute nightmare. After that, we actually, finally get to start seeing Skasa-chan interact again with the Emperor, okay? They're still talking about paper, right? They're complimenting on how, this paper is super soft and silky, right? But, the Emperor is like, okay, fantastic idea. I already feel like I'm repeating my words, but you know where this is going, right? Basically, he's telling Skasa-chan that, well, this is a good idea. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I should point out a problem. I don't really know what to put down on these pieces of paper, right? Skasa-chan is like, oh my god. Listen, bro, use your head. Come on, think about it for a moment, okay? Right? But, she's like, listen, don't worry about it. The good news is that you can at least, I don't know, practice it on these wooden boards that we just have, okay? And that's kind of what the Emperor does. He tries to practice on the wooden boards. Now, to say that the Emperor's letter is, kind of an embarrassment to basically every single male on the human species. It's kind of an understatement, okay? It's really bad, okay? It is the most driest, the most dead letter in existence, okay? Even yes, I can write better than whatever the fuck this man wrote, okay? It's the most basic, hey, I saw you the other day and I thought you were really cute. Do you want to hang out? That's basically what it is, okay? Now, Skasa-chan is very shocked, to say the least. She's like, What? How can you write this bad? This is terrible writing. Oh my god, I thought you were maybe decent at this. No, you're terrible. Absolutely astronomically just horrendous, okay? She starts talking about how this isn't gonna charm anyone. This isn't gonna charm a girl. Listen, when you have to write, it has to be interesting. It has to be, enticing to read, okay? The Emperor, he doesn't really understand how that's supposed to work. Now the Emperor, he decides to have this great idea, basically, okay? He tells Scusachan that, alright then, I get it. My letter? Kind of bad, actually, come to think of it, okay? It's really, really bad, actually. How about you give it a chance? How about you try it out, okay? So, that's what Scusachan does right now. To say that what she says is a little bit cheesy, a little bit lovey-dovey, a little bit cringy, if you will. I don't really like using that word, but whatever, okay? It's kind of an understatement, okay? By our standards, very cringy, very lovey-dovey, alright? But I'm guessing back then this was probably like top 10 literature of all time, right? What you're supposed to say to your loved ones, alright? And apparently that works out really well, okay? And the Emperor, he likes it a lot. So much so that he basically tells Scusachan, I guess write it down for him so he could maybe use it down for later, right? Now, Scusachan, she apparently wants to write it down, right? But, there's just one issue, one teeny tiny issue. She doesn't know how to read or write, okay? Which, actually, no, that does make very much a lot of sense, right? Because technically, Scusachan is still a peasant, right? And, in this time, I'm sure peasants don't know how to read and write, okay? So the Emperor, he decides to be like, okay then, how about I teach you how to read and write, okay? Now, Scusachan is a little bit surprised, right? He's like, what do you mean, try to teach me how to read and write, right? He explains that, basically, he's willing to do anything to get Kaguya, not Scusachan, to get Kaguya to love him, alright? And if it means having to teach Scusachan how to read and write, he's going to do it. Now, Scusachan agrees because, she realizes that, oh, wait, I can actually use this to improve on myself, okay, right? The Emperor agrees all is well, right? But the Emperor still wants a little bit more to know about Scusachan, right? So he decides to ask her, hey, what's your name, right? Now, Scusachan, she declines the offer, okay? Basically telling him, listen, I don't want you to know my name, and I don't want to know your name, okay? So don't tell me your name as well, right? Obviously, the Emperor's a little bit confused until, why the hell would you not want to know my name? I want to know your name. Why is this not going to work out, right? She continues, right? She basically says that if they were to tell each other their names, that would also reveal their social class, right? And, if they were to find out that, oh, we're not of the actual, equal social class, right, that would probably give them a feeling of, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk to you again, okay, right? So, Scusachan, she has decided that let's just not tell each other our names so we don't reveal our social class, okay? We can keep this friendship going, okay? She doesn't want to know the name of, of Kagi, okay? She doesn't want to know that of who this person is, right? They just want to be nameless friends and, everything is going to be well, right? And it's also an excuse to Hada to not tell us what her original name is, but I digress, okay? The Emperor, he apparently also decides, you know what? That actually makes a little bit of sense, you know what? And he agrees to the offer. After that, we cut to Kaguya's parents. Yes, I'm calling them parents now. I have decided no longer guardians, no longer grandparents. It's just a parent, okay? We cut to Kaguya's mom, okay? Well, let's just talk about her for a moment. First off, kind of a woman of culture, if you will. The opposite of a man of culture, okay? Basically, she's looking at Kaguya, who's now just been looking at this, letter that the Emperor sent to her, for quite a while, okay? She's like, so are you guys just gonna do something about it, okay? Now, the dad is very surprised at her, she's like, hey, relax, okay? We want to take it, step by step, right? But, the mother, she's like, no, come on, let's just get this done, right? Back in her day when she was a kid, right? You brought them behind the bush and bam, you're done. It's been like that, right? But, now it's like, oh, you have to send letters, you have to, hang out and stuff like that. She doesn't like that, okay? So she decides in her glorious genius to go ahead and basically tell Kaguya, hey, when are you gonna go marry this man, okay, right? And that's what he does. She does. Basically, she gets up and goes off to talk to Kaguya, right? Obviously, the dad isn't really liking that. He's like, oh, whoa, whoa, relax. Kaguya's mom, goes up to Kaguya, right, and decides to, basically ask her, hey, what are your thoughts on the gift that the Emperor sent to you, right? Now, Kaguya responds with basically saying that she really, really loves the letter, okay? She finds it the most interesting thing, and, she's been reading it now for hours upon hours, right? She looks at it and she's like, damn, that is really beautiful, right? Now, her mom is basically like, okay, pretty cool, okay? If you're so interested in him, how about you just start doing it with him, huh? Now, the dad is very much not pleased at this. He's like, hey, relax, wait, calm down, okay? The mom is basically like, what? I'm being correct. Why, if she's so interested in this letter, it means that she must be interested in the Emperor. Just go ahead and do it with him. Come on. I want my grandchildren, right? Kaguya, apparently this convinces Kaguya that, maybe I should, get more involved with this emperor dude, right? So basically, she's like, hey, just saying, could you guys give me, some of this so-called paper, if you will, right? We cut to the Emperor running, basically towards Skasa-chan's direction, right? He's happy and stuff like that, right? Skasa-chan questions like, hey, yo, you good, right? The Emperor, he says that apparently Kaguya has responded, right? And Skasa-chan is very happy about this, right? She's happy that, oh, okay, there's actual progress being made in this whole thing, right? She tells the Emperor, hey, are you sure that it's fine that, I basically wrote the entire letter for you, okay? The Emperor's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine, okay? Don't worry about it. Listen, I'm going to start putting my own work into this letter, okay? Don't worry about it. More and more, it's going to start becoming my words, okay? The Skasa-chan is like, okay, fine, sure, right? And, she's kind of happy. She starts grinning in happiness, if you will. Now the Emperor is kind of confused, right? He's like, hey, you good? You good, right? Obviously, Skasa-chan is perfectly fine, right? She laughs a little, she's like, oh, don't worry about me, right? She just finds it, kind of amusing how, someone could get so happy by, this, whole love interaction thing, right? And, she hopes that maybe one day, hopefully one day, this type of love could get to her, right? And she could experience this type of happiness and this type of love, right? The Emperor is like, oh, don't worry about it. You're going to get someone that's going to love you eventually, okay, right? Ominous foreshadowing? I'm just kidding. But nonetheless, right, basically he reassures Skasa-chan and like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's going to come to you eventually, right? Now, from there, we cut to Skasa-chan basically having her little monologues, right? She's like, maybe the story would have just ended. What if the story just ended there, right? All cozy and happy, right? Everyone's happy, right? I wonder what would have turned out about me, right? But as she says herself, that's not how the story ends, and that the story just gets darker, more desolate, and just it starts becoming a nightmare for absolutely everyone involved. So, very doomer things, right? And that is where chapter 200 ends off. Very great chapter, okay, it's basically just, again, a retelling of the bamboo cutter story. Chapter 201 and 202 are going to be probably about how, they're going to start talking to each other, right? And they're probably going to get to the point where it's like, oh, Kaguya has to return back to the moon, right? But, hopefully that doesn't actually happen in chapter 200 or 2. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't actually happen, okay? But, yeah, apart from that, like I said, great chapter, really. I am, like, 2 chapters behind, so I'm gonna have to get this rolling, okay? I'm sorry if, I haven't been, like, loud. It's just that, my voice isn't really feeling that well. Let's be honest here, okay? But, like I said, apart from that, I hope that you enjoyed, and, yeah, goodbye.